Thank you.
All right, so thank you everybody for making day 4. Woohoo! One more day to go. So day 1, we looked at CS education landscape equity, looking at some of the stats. Day 2, you had computational thinking exercises, a lot of them. And day 3, HTML and CSS. I noticed that a lot of you have progressed through to the end. Awesome. And today, we're doing JavaScript. Then tomorrow we'll be using Google's Teachable Machine, where we're going to train the AI to distinguish different things by image, sound, or your poses. That is that. And another thing that I wanted to briefly talk about was the site. So you'll probably notice that after you make the submission for your project, that your icon turns yellow. That means that it's ready for code review. So the facilitators of the course will go in and give you personal code reviews for your assignment. And once you get those reviews, you'll see that the icon color has changed to either green or red. If you see red, it means that you may want to revisit. And there will be a little icon in the corner. It's a blue icon. Click on it and you'll be able to see our code review that's customized and personalized for your project. Okay, so those of you who went through the assignments, tasks for day 3 would probably get an idea of what consists of web page, right? So there are basically 3 things in the front end, the client side. So that would be HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And if you can type this in the chat window. What does HTML do? What is it for? Can you guess what it's for? Display, putting text on page? Yep. Language on the page? Yep. Yes, so it basically, oh yes, markup language. Yes, it's actually an acronym for hypertext markup language, right? Did I get that right? Yeah, it formats the text on page. Great. So basically what it does is it creates a structure on your web page, and also you can display content with HTML. But more and more, this content part is being taken away from HTML. Instead of hard coding everything into your website, they are now putting all that content into database so that your content is, it's pulled together on the fly when that page is loaded. Anyway, so HTML takes care of the structure of your website and the content. And all right, CSS. What is CSS for? So it stands for Cascading Style Sheet. Is that right? And I think I just mentioned the answer there. So CSS will style your website. Yes, Mary, thank you so much. All right. So, and then the last portion is the JavaScript, right? So what is JavaScript for? Oh, and Timothy, thank you so much. CSS lets you set up the formatting to be consistent on all your web pages. Yep, if you structure it correctly. JavaScript is for animations. Awesome. Interactivity, interactions. Yes, it is. It's all about interactions, right? So what happens if you click on that button? You can design that with JavaScript. Yes. All right. So a lot of the fancy stuff that is going on modern browsers, on modern web pages nowadays, they're all done with JavaScript. Even back-end programming is done with JavaScript now. It's super popular. So JavaScript is good for everything on the web. All right. So here is a web page. You can follow along if you like. Let me just type this into, I'll paste this into the chat window so you can follow along if you like. And you can also do this with your students. Right-click on the website, and if you're on Chrome, this is doable, and then click Inspect. And I know some of you know this. If you don't, this would be a new world for you. All right, so here is the structure of the website. Here is a website. We are now going to look under the hood, and how we did that was on your Chrome browser, click on, right-click on your mouse, click on Inspect, and you will see the code. Isn't this amazing? All right, so if you have done your assignment, you will know how to work with this website. So first of all, what we're going to try to do is we are going to try to change some text around here. And it's very easy to do that. All you have to do is just select this area. And here is the text, right? And as you can see, this text is surrounded by P tags, opening P tag and a closing P tag, and got a bunch of text between quotation marks. And then I'm just going to grab everything that's in between and then replace it with my name is Jane. All right, let's see if that works. And it did. So it just replaced that the text within those P tags. All right, so we just swapped a text very easily, just like that. And you can imagine that you can actually create a P tag and then embed a text and have that show up on your website, which was part of the first assignment that we had to do, right? So right here, yep, alter that P tag. So we just did that on this live website. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to change the title of this website. And those of you who are familiar with this, where is that title tag on this website? Can you point it out? I know it's going to be very, very hard to point it out in chat window, but basically your title tags, whatever you put in between them, is going to show up. Oh yes, in terms of the location, yes, it's going to be under the HTML tag in the tab. Yes, right over here on the top. So this, let me annotate it briefly. All right, so let me grab that pen tool. So this is where that title tag will affect your website. And it's very important to put very accurate titles, because the search engines would send out these crawlers that would index your websites, and it'll take this title tag and then consider that. So then it'll show up in the search results based on this title tag and other things, but title tag is very important. All right, so let's alter that title tag now. And as I think Ray mentioned this, yep. So if you go under head, so we just opened up the head tags, right? It's right below the HTML tag. So the head tag is where you put all the meta stuff. So all the stuff that are not going to be showing up on your website, but you need as a setup, you'll put them all under the head tag. And as you can see, here is the title tag. We're going to change it. So it's going to say Jane's website. And once I do that, you'll see that the title has changed. All right, so that was the second task of our to-dos on PopViz, right? So here we have to create title tags, and you will do that between the two head tags. Stop me if you have any questions. All right, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to change some of the headings. So let's take perhaps this welcome message. All right, so this welcome message, it's an H4, but we can change it to other headings, right? Heading 1. And just like that, we swap this to heading 1. And heading 1 is the most prominent, heading 2 a little less, heading 3 a little less, and so on. And you can change the style of your headings using the CSS. All right, so that is changing the headings. Now let's try swapping some of the images here. Okay, so let's swap this guy here with a rubber ducky image that I found online. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the URL of where this image lives, right? Copy link address. And this isn't something that we covered in the PopViz course, but I'll just slide it in there just for fun. And let's navigate that image and find that code. All right, so in the HTML, we see that this is the image. It's located under images/about.jpg. We're going to swap that with our rubber ducky image URL. And let's see what happens. Did it go through? Oh, it disappeared. Huh, something went wrong there. I wonder what. Okay, so maybe that wasn't the accurate image location. which means that we'll actually have to maybe click on it and then grab it. Okay, copy image address. All right, so let's see if this address works. And swap that image source URL. Oops, sorry, my computer is slowing down. Oh, that's even longer. Let's see if that works. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we just swapped that image with this rubber ducky. And the next thing that we're going to do is one of the things that was introduced in the PopViz course, which is adding links. And it's very easy to do, right? We just use that A tag, href, and we're going to do that for this website. Let's go and add a tag, add a link to the rubber ducky. All right, so how we do that is we are going to edit this HTML and then insert the A tags, A, href, and then equal sign, and then we're going to insert that URL, right? And that URL, let's send whoever clicks on that link to Google. So HTTP. Oh my gosh, my computer is very, very slow. / Google. Come on, don't die on me. Not yet. Okay, yeah, I need to upgrade my computer. Google, come on. .com. All right, and then we need to definitely close that A with a closing bracket there. And then also, if we have an opening tag, we always need a closing tag, right? So at the end of that, all that gobbledygook down there, we're going to close that A tag, /A, and then this should work. All right, so, oh yes, there we go. So our mouse changed to a finger, right? And we can click on it and it's gonna take us to Google. All right, so that worked great. Okay, so we can also meddle with the CSS files. And before we begin, I wanna show you where that CSS file lives. So you can actually embed the CSS file in this website, hard-coded in there, or you can create a separate file and then take care of your CSS there, which is a lot smarter to do, because let's say that you had 100 pages, right? And if you had your CSS code embedded in individual page, imagine updating it all together. Something's gonna go wrong. But if you just had one CSS file, which all your pages were referring to, all you have to do is alter that one CSS file. And then, yep, so that will make it a lot more simpler and easily manageable. And I'm gonna show you where that CSS file lives and what that file actually looks like. So I'm gonna grab this URL and note that this link to the CSS file is within the head tag because it's something that we have to set up before the whole website loads. So you wanna put it in the head tag. And I think I just grabbed that URL. So what I'm gonna do is now, I'm gonna delete this end of the URL. And then, oops, sorry, not the right CSS. Oh, there we go. So this, I actually went and visited this site, so that it's still there. Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is the CSS file, and it's very straightforward, right? You have all these IDs and classes, and it tells you what it should look like, which is great. And you can also, using this inspector tool, alter your CSS. So for example, if you click on this inspector icon and then select About Me, it'll take you to this panel here here in the styles, where it would list all the styles that are applied to this About Me. And there's a lot going on here, right? Font family, font size, and all of those here, right? They're all being applied to About Me. And you can actually change the text here. And then let's say we'll just do 100, and it's going to change the font weight and make it a little thinner. and so on. So you can actually meddle with the CSS here and change the color and do all the fancy stuff. All right, so that is CSS. And we also went through that in the course. And I'm sure that you were able to get through all of them, and you're on 14, the project part, where you were to put all of this together. So if you're not here yet, don't worry about it. Go on this at your own pace. And today we'll be dealing with JavaScript. And just to give you a little bit of taste, JavaScript is surrounded by this script tag, and it looks like this. Oops, sorry. And you can sort of make out what this means, right? So from this whole document, get an element called main content, right? And then apply style display none. Can you guess what this will do? So here's a code, which is structured like this. We have the HTML starting tag, and we have the head tags with the title inside it. And we also have an area that's ID main content, right? And then below all that, we have the script tags, which says main content, display none. This will hide everything that's in this div tags. Yes, Alan, thank you so much. Yes, it's going to make this whole area disappear. So script tags are very, very powerful. So for this website, it's all at the bottom here. And there's a reason why this person has kept this all at the bottom, because one thing that could happen is that if your JS file is broken or won't load properly, your website is going to not show anything. And people are going to think that it's completely broken, and you don't want that to happen, so you keep it at the very end, because your website loads everything from top to bottom. So if anything goes wrong at the top, you're not going to be able to reach the bottom, and all this content is not going to be showing properly. But if you keep this all at the bottom, then your site's going to load everything. If anything goes wrong, it's going to be happening after everything's loaded. So that's why this person has kept it at the bottom. All right, so that is that. And let's go back to the slide and go over a little bit of AI. So we're ready for tomorrow, and I'll make this really, really quick. All right, so quick exercise here. Name all the AIs that are on this slide. You can do it left to right, whichever order, and just type it in the chat window. Yes, thank you. Siri, yep, check. Alexa, yep. And Tesla, excellent. All right. All of them, yes, they're all AIs, right? Can you name what this is for? Netflix, which part of Netflix is AI? It's pretty much everything, but yes, big data, yep. So watch list, yes, your suggestions, right? And what about this image right here? Simulator, navigation, yep, autopilot, right? And then one at the bottom, this one's a little tough. So this one at the bottom, it's algorithmic stock trading. Thank you, yes, stock market. And the last one on the top, well, it's, give you a hint, it's about medical image, right? It's the medical image reading, and AIs are very, very accurate. They're getting better at this every time. So I'm sure you had experience where you avoided clicking on certain videos because you didn't want the AI to learn that as your preference and make recommendations based on that click. So you might find yourself avoiding clicking certain videos even though you want to take a 10-second look at it. And another thing is you might have wrong face tags on Facebook. So AI is happening everywhere around us, and it goes beyond what we are seeing on the screen. So it affects everything. So in terms of when I go to Upwork to find freelancers for creating images and things like that, there are recommendations of who should be hired. That's AI. So employee screening, initial screening is done a lot in AI nowadays. So that includes college admissions, getting loans, and yeah, all sorts of things like getting employed. And you might also notice that for some website shopping malls, they would give you coupons based on your actions. So some people might get a little more discount. So even though you're on the same platform shopping for the same thing, you might be paying this different price. So this is all AI and algorithms creating this world. And so we'll learn more about that tomorrow. If you don't have any questions, I'll pass the mic over to Omar.